The screen fades into chaos. Explosions light up the horizon, and the sound of alien war cries echoes through the air. Human Commander Captain Elena Voss stands on a crumbling observation deck, her face streaked with soot as she watches an alien fleet descend upon the colony of Epsilon 7. Behind her, civilians scream for evacuation while soldiers prepare their last line of defense. "This is it," she mutters into her comm unit, voice trembling but resolute. "They've breached the outer perimeter. If we don't make a stand now, there won't be another chance." A red alert flashes across her HUD. Invasion imminent. Casualties at 42%. Evacuation routes compromised. But then something unexpected happens. A transmission from the aliens. Their leader, known only as HFY War, speaks in broken English, offering terms of surrender. They promise mercy if humanity lays down its arms. Captain Voss clenches her fists, torn between hope and defiance. And that's when the video cuts to black, leaving viewers with one burning question: what would you do? Elena Voss isn't just any commander, she's a survivor. Years ago, during humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial life, her homeworld was razed by invaders who showed no mercy. She carries the scars, not just physical ones, but emotional wounds that have hardened her resolve. Now, stationed on Epsilon 7, a remote agricultural colony vital to Earth's food supply, she faces the same enemy once more. As the story unfolds, we learn about the stakes. Epsilon 7 isn't just a colony, it's home to over 50,000 people, many of whom are families trying to rebuild after decades of interstellar conflict. The colony also houses experimental terraforming technology that could ensure humanity's survival in hostile environments. Losing this colony means losing not just lives, but hope itself. When HFY War offers surrender, Elena knows the risks. Accepting could save countless lives, but history has taught her that these aliens rarely honor their promises. Refusing means fighting a battle they're unlikely to win. Here, the narrator pauses, turning directly to the audience. "You decide," they say solemnly. "Will Captain Voss negotiate peace or prepare for war?" Viewers are presented with two options. Option A, tempt diplomacy and trust HFY War's offer. Option B, reject the offer and initiate a scorched earth strategy, destroying resources before the aliens can claim them. If viewers choose diplomacy, Elena reluctantly agrees to meet HFY War aboard his flagship under a white flag. The scene shifts to tense negotiations. HFY War reveals that his species, the Xynari, are refugees fleeing their dying star system. They need new worlds to survive, and Epsilon 7 is ideal due to its rich biosphere. At first, Elena feels a flicker of empathy. Perhaps coexistence is possible. But things take a dark turn when HFY War demands unconditional surrender, not just of the colony, but of all human settlements within reach. He argues that humans are too aggressive to share space peacefully. Back on Epsilon 7, tensions rise among the colonists. Some believe Elena betrayed them by even considering negotiation. Others see it as their only chance to avoid annihilation. Meanwhile, Elena discovers evidence suggesting that Xynari may already be planning to betray their truce. They've begun deploying mining drones near the colony's water reserves. Now viewers must decide again. Option C, expose the betrayal and rally the colony to resist. Option D, play along and secretly sabotage the Xynari operations from within. Choosing resistance leads to a desperate guerrilla campaign. Elena organizes hit-and-run attacks against the Xynari forces, using knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver them. However, the cost is high. Civilians are caught in the crossfire and morale plummets as supplies dwindle. Just when all seems lost, Elena uncovers a hidden weakness in the Xynari command. Structure. By targeting key leaders, she hopes to destabilize their entire operation. But doing so requires infiltrating their heavily guarded central hub a suicide mission. Viewers must decide, should Elena lead the charge herself, risking everything, or send a team of volunteers instead? Each choice carries profound consequences for the fate of the colony. Opting for sabotage plunges Elena into a shadowy game of deception. Working undercover, she gains the trust of a sympathetic Xynari scientist named Silas, who opposes Kyle Vor's genocidal policies. Together, they plot to disable the invaders' terraforming equipment, rendering Epsilon 7 uninhabitable for both sides. However, their plan hits a snag when Kyle Vor grows suspicious of Elena's motives. In a shocking twist, he captures Silas and threatens to execute him unless Elena surrenders herself. Once again, viewers must choose: sacrifice Silas to complete the sabotage, or step forward to save him, knowing it might doom the colony? If viewers reject diplomacy, Elena orders the destruction of Epsilon 7's crops, mines, and infrastructure. The goal is simple: deny the Xynari anything worth taking. This brutal tactic buys time but comes at a devastating cost. Starving. Colonists riot, accusing Elena of condemning them to slow death. Amid the turmoil, Elena receives intel about a secret Xynari weapon, a biological agent designed to wipe out human populations. Her scouts locate the weapon cached deep within enemy territory. Destroying it could cripple the invasion, but reaching it will require splitting her already overstretched forces. Viewers face another critical decision: Option E, launch a full-scale assault on the weapon cache, gambling everything on a single decisive strike. Option F, focus on evacuating survivors, abandoning the fight but preserving what remains of humanity. Choosing the assault leads to a climactic showdown. Elena leads her troops into the heart of the Xynari stronghold, facing overwhelming odds. Just as victory seems within reach, Kyle Vor unveils a horrifying truth: the biological weapon was never intended for Epsilon 7, it was destined for Earth itself. With seconds to act, Elena must decide whether to detonate the cache, killing thousands of innocent Xynari civilians caught in the blast radius, or spare them and risk unleashing the weapon on humanity's homeworld. Focusing on evacuation spares immediate bloodshed, but leaves the colony and potentially Earth in grave danger. As the last ships depart, Elena stays behind to buy time for the fleeing colonists. In a poignant finale, she broadcasts the message to the Xynari, challenging them to prove their claims of superiority by sparing those they've defeated. Her words resonate unexpectedly. Silas, the sympathetic Xynari scientist, intercepts the transmission and begins advocating for peace among his own kind. Though the colony falls, Elena's sacrifice plants the seeds of future cooperation, or so it seems, until the final moments, when a cryptic message hints at a larger conspiracy involving both humans and Xynari. Regardless of the path chosen, the story ends with a cliffhanger. Whether through victory, tragedy, or uneasy truce, the events on Epsilon 7 ripple outward, shaping humanity's destiny. Viewers are left pondering the moral complexities of war and survival. The narrator returns, addressing the audience directly. Your choices mattered today, but the fight isn't over. What will you do next time? Cue outro music and teaser for the sequel, Humans Don't Surrender, Shadows of Andromeda. This interactive narrative keeps viewers engaged by placing them in the shoes of Captain Elena Voss, forcing them to grapple with impossible decisions. With multiple branches, unexpected twists, and morally ambiguous outcomes, it ensures replayability and deep investment in the story's resolution.